I personally feel like the 5-liter that comes in the F-150 is a pretty good engine. Even the second and third gens have been pretty good engines. They all have their usual problems. The first one had issues with burning valves. The second one had that slapping noise from the intake runner that made it sound like it was about to blow up. But all in all, they've been pretty good engines. Nowhere near as bad as some people claim they are, but definitely not as good as some people claim they are either. The F-150 minus the engine, so the trucks themselves, built from 2004 to as far as I know 2021, always had the same weak points, with the carriers and the limited slip differentials wearing out prematurely and the outer locking front hubs always falling apart. There were some issues with the 11th and 12th gen trucks, some corrosion issues that would cause the fuel pump driver module to spontaneously combust, but all of that went away in 2015 when they switched to the aluminum body, which is more corrosion resistant, but it does still corrodes. They did seal the rocker panel on that truck so dirt and moisture can't get inside and eat them from the inside out. Trust me, you do not have a 5-star crash test rating without your rocker panel. Your truck's just not as safe. But I'm not really talking about the trucks. I'm talking about the 5-liter overhead cam engine that came in the F-150 from 2011 to 2014. Some people call it the Coyote, but I feel like the Coyote's more the one that came in the Mustang, which is very similar but not the same. The 4 things I fix most often on these trucks in order is number 1, coolant leaks, number 2, head gaskets, number 3, worn timing components, and number 4, burnt valves. I have to change a lot of head gaskets because of coolant leaks, and every time I get one of these things, somebody swears to me they didn't let it overheat. Most of the time when you have a coolant leak with any F-150, it's on the T this top radiator hose is attached to. If it's an EcoBoost, there's another T in front, but it's always some plastic fitting. This one right here did this. I'm not proud of this. The guy needed his truck and I couldn't get a hose this week, so I did this right here. But this line to the heater cores usually stretch pretty tight against the fitting right here, and after a while the engine mounts wear out a little bit. It moves around some and it just snaps off. Well, it leaks there for a little bit before it snaps off. Trust me, they give you plenty of warning before they just break. Then people keep driving them, then they need a head gasket. Now, some people mistake me as a car person. I'm not a car person, I'm a mechanic. I would prefer a horse and buggy. So before you load my comment section down with how much horsepower this engine's capable of, what tunes and modifications you prefer, you should know. It is my job to take all of that kind of stuff off from vehicles and restore them to factory condition so they can be certified. I don't see these vehicles for what they could be, I see them for what they are. In my mind, it is not a 1,000 horsepower race car capable of everything, it is just an old pickup. And I think it's a decent pickup. When you hear me say things as controversial as the 2.7 doesn't belong in an F-150 with an 8,500 pound towing capacity, I'm basing that on numbers. Not numbers like 325 horsepower or 375 pound-feet of torque. I base it on numbers like number 7. That's right, the number 7. As in, of the 15 2.7-liter EcoBoosts to come through this garage for repair, 7 of them have required new short blocks because of damage at the bottom of the cylinder liner due to excessively worn piston skirts. These engines are just wearing out, and not at 200,000 or 300,000 miles. They are wearing out severely at around 100,000 to 150,000 miles. You don't see that with a 3.5 or a 5-liter, especially not the 5-liter. Those bottom ends hold up good. They always have. My wife drives a 2018 Expedition with this exact 3.5-liter EcoBoost 100 miles every day, 50 miles to work, 50 miles back. It has over 350,000 miles on it now, and it's not really showing any signs of its age outside of some wastegate rattle. I'm actually saving this engine just in case that one does pop, but so far it's been good. I also saved a transfer case and some calipers just in case I had a whole wrecked one, but I've got a spare engine for the day. The 3.5 is a lot more common. I've seen more of those than I care to count. They usually come in for worn timing components, bad turbos, or coolant leaks, but I've rarely had to change complete engine assemblies. And when I've had to change complete engine assemblies, it's because they were broken, not worn out. Same thing with the 5-liter, broken but not worn out. I've done many videos on 5-liters and 3.5s with over 400,000 miles. I have not seen a 2.7 with over 400,000 miles. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's got to be pretty rare at this point. Geez guys, even after watching this whole video stored away in my drafts, I really don't remember what I was getting at here. I might be over the hill. But I think it had something to do with Ford's long history of overbuilding engines, then detuning them so they would last longer. And I think engines like the 5-liter, the 6.2, and even the 7.3 have been consistent with that pattern. But I also think engines like the 3.5 and especially the 2.7 are pretty much giving you everything they got all at once, which is most likely why modifying these engines to put out any more power greatly reduces their life expectancy. If any of this makes any sense to you. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I hope you were entertained by some of this anyway.